Good to see everybody here tonight. Thank you for coming. This is usually the group that we usually have. Maybe one or two more and one or two less. We need to push this thing to get some people in here to do some talking and do something. We're running a little behind, but there's things we're going to start trying to do and see if they'll work out. But again, I say if you come, thank you. And let's go to the Lord and pray now. Our Father, we stop tonight to give you honor and praise and glory for your holy name. Thanking you for all things that you do for us that we're not even aware of. And Lord, as you do them, we just honor and thank you for all things. Use us now to use things for your glory and help us to do things that will be in your will. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Just stand, we'll say the pledge and get on.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think Barry has the floor at this time now. He's got some stuff that needs to bring. We have a gentleman that we're welcoming with us tonight.
I don't see he ain't got here yet.
Oh, okay. But anyway, we're looking for him.
Yep.
Okay? Thank you anyway.
Want to thank all of you for coming. I tried the microphone, but something's wrong with it, so I don't think I need one. Order of new business. We're waiting on DOT to put the traffic light down here. Should be any time. Talked with them last week, and they're looking at probably within the next month to completing this project down here below the church. So, and then the other project, which will come here, we're trying to make some contact with some people that's going to speed that up from 2029, maybe boost it back to 25, and it might go to 24. I don't know. It's all in the state's hands. So that's where we stand on the projects from DOT. We still have a lot of problems with local vandalism going on. They have a lot of problems with speeding. The highway patrol and our sheriff's department are really writing a lot of tickets. I know last Friday night they wrote about 9 tickets on Rockfish Road. Every other car they'd stop, and they're writing the tickets. So people need to beware when they come down in this neck of the woods speeding. So they're doing their job. Talked with the folks at the county, and the sewer's coming up Coots Road. It's going to turn and come towards Rockfish. And basically, that's all the project work that we've got going on. They are doing some updates at the community house. We're going to have a brand new park in Rockfish. At one time, when the community house was up at the old school, the old ball field was there, that was the park. That was the Rockfish Community Park. But when the county moved it up here, it was named the Rockfish Park. So the county voted last meeting in the county commissioners unanimous to rename this park up here, and it's going to be called the Rockfish Community Park. A couple of commissioners have been out here, and they're going to upgrade the bathrooms in the community house to some handicap bathrooms, and they're going to have to change the signage out on Lindsay Road, because the state is going to take that property where the sign, the Rockfish Community House sign is, and our little plaque out there. They're going to have to move that and move it back off the side of the community house. They're also going to place another fence around the community house, because people are driving in front of the community house where the septic tank is, and their car is going to wind up in the septic tank. And that's not going to be good. So they're working on that. There's a lot of things they're doing. They're going to upgrade some things in the park. They've already put some new equipment in there. They're looking at putting some new equipment in there, discussing putting some stuff in there for autism children, where they can have something to do when they come to the new park. They'll be placing a new sign probably within the next couple of weeks, and everybody will hear about it, because it's going to be on Facebook, and we'll let everybody know through the volunteer board when that's going to be, and we'll go up there for that. So The county commissioners did rename the park. It was named Rockfish Park, but now it's the Rockfish Community Park. So, basically, that's all the business we have. Anybody else got anything up here they'd like to add before we go into what we want to talk about?
Anybody got anything they'd like to say, speak about?
Okay.
But Larry.
Yes, sir.
One thing I suggest, I guess we can talk about it later, is cutting the camera for a little while so that people can start back coming. Because I think with the camera, a lot of people are not showing up because of that. And in order to get an effective meeting, get input back from the community, I think we should try it for about a couple of months to see how many people that we actually can get to start coming back.
You think it's because they think they can watch it online?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's some of the parts, because if you, I was talking to Larry earlier, like worship services. Worship services is not packed as much now because everybody is watching it online. And I think once I think once we get it back packed in here, then we can say, okay, there's a need, let's put it online, because we over capacity. But right now, in order to get the community involvement back, I mean, just me, I just think that would be a good idea for a while.
I would have to disagree with you, because at any given time, at best, we maybe have 2 viewers. The average. Sometimes it's 0.
Yeah.
I like to record it at the minimum, because if people want to go back and watch it later to see what we discussed, they can do that. There's a lot of people who just can't come to the meetings. They don't have the time, or they've got something going on with their families and kids, or maybe they're elderly and they just can't do it. I would tend to disagree with you on that.
You know, the reason I say that, before COVID, pre-COVID, this place used to be packed. Without reason I say, and I'm not knocking the yokes. It used to be packed in here. And I think if people, sometimes people really, I know you, like I said, 2 or 3 people. But if people really want to get back out and come back out this, so we can be effective. Because like I said, you know, it's sad to see that we got a community, Rockfish, with the amount of people. I don't know how many people in Rockfish.
Lots of people.
Sir?
There's a bunch of people.
Bunch of people in Rockfish.
What?
And we getting a lot of stuff. I know Larry and Mr. Brock getting a lot of stuff done. And the community, to me, is not respecting that. You know, he getting the park done. We getting the park done up here. Traffic light, all the different stuff. But the community want this stuff, but they won't come and support the meeting.
The thing is, though, there's a marked point when our attendance dropped off, and I can tell you exactly when it was. Exactly, to the month. It was right about December 2020, after the election was over. It's got nothing to do with COVID or anything like that. It's because it's not election season anymore. That's the bottom line.
Now, I was just talking about before you came aboard.
I was here before that. I was recording months before
Yeah.
that. It's just, and I remember those days when we had those packed houses.
Yeah.
But those were days where we had representatives coming out. We had election topics.
No, I'm talking about before. I'm talking about before that. I'm talking about before we even started recording. We still had a packed crowd. We put it this way, not every seat pretty much was filled before the election stuff came around. Now, stuff is getting done here, and stuff is still moving forward in this community, and a lot of the people don't know what's going on And then the first thing we do is complain. But Mr. Brock, Larry and them got this set up so people could come and voice their opinion. That's what this really is about. Voice your opinion so we'll know what's going on. Not only we gonna tell you what's going on, you can let us know what's going on. And if you're not letting us know what's going on, how do we know what to fix?
Well, there's something to think about. It's got its good points and it's got its bad points. But, it is something that we will consider, discuss down the road. I appreciate that, Carl. Janet, do you have anything?
I do. We're talking about the crowds and everything. It seems to me a lot of people and several people have approached me in Rockfish. They complain about this and complain about that, want to know why we're trying to get incorporated. It's not that any of us is trying to get incorporated. It's just a lot of things have come to materialize and brought to our attention. But a lot of people, even I've seen it on our Rockfish community Facebook page. We should do this or do that, or this Rockfish board is trying to do, but they complain, but they're not here. And that's my thing. And I've come to the point, if you don't come, just don't say nothing about it.
E.T.?
No, I don't have anything to say.
I'll say one thing. I've had several people tell me Brown to come back, and come back.
He won't come back. Not now, not right now. His business is he's too slack in his business. Yes, sir.
What I was gonna say, Carlos has got a good point. I knew of a business, a big business, in Fayetteville at one time. Their business was off bad. So the owner went out and rented cars and parked in front of the business to draw people. And, he's got a point, but at the same time, like Jenna said, most of the complainers is not gonna come anyway. I don't care what you do.
Well, I think, a lot of folks are able to watch it, Facebook, some that can't come. A lot of folks watch it on Facebook that could come. And the ones that watch it on Facebook that could come are the complainers. It is what it is. We've been going, Brownie started this 10 years ago, something never has been done before by Brownie. He started it. E.T. and his brothers reached out back in the early 90s and tried to move forward, but we're not able to do that. I feel like we're no better than nobody else. We've made a lot of progress. If we would hit the churches and get the church people involved behind us, it might would help. But we've maintained to continue to go, and we're moving forward. And hopefully, people find out what we're doing and going to do. Is they'll want to get involved and help us. So I think for right now, we'll continue this streaming until maybe we'll discuss it next couple of months and see where we stand, Carlos. And thank you so much. Everybody happy? Okay. We sought out 2 months ago and we advertised that we were going to discuss incorporation. We surveyed the community back in February of 2018. We surveyed 9,813 miles, which is a 15-mile radius. We have signatures to the effect, a number of signatures that have already signed. But I have been told by several influential people, Mr. Harold Brock, E.T., several people in the community, we need to reduce that if we want to pursue the incorporation. We have the map. The map is up here. The map has got to be reduced. I've already talked to one gentleman, and he said he'd help us. And that's what we're going to look at doing. Mr. Harold Brock and myself spent one day in Raleigh talking to the people, the do's and the don'ts, and telling us what we can do about the incorporation. We've got to have signatures. We got the petitions. We've already got names on them right here. People that want it. Now, of course, there's going to be people that's not going to want it. And you say, why is that? Taxes. You start looking at $15 on the 100. They say, well, why should I pay all that tax? Well, you know, we passed out all these sheets here, and I know you've got them on our Facebook page. The pros and the cons. The incorporation would cause for self-government. We'd have our own board. But first of all, we've got to get signatures to add to what we've got. We've already missed the deadline for 23. We've got to have it in the chamber office 60 days prior, and we've already missed the 60 days. So, you know, this is something we come together tonight to discuss. I know there's those that have been here all their life, E.T. and Claudine and Kathy Fowler and myself and Janice. We've been here all our life. And the comment that I get from people, I don't want to see change. Well, I know there's people out there watching. Where have you been? Haven't you seen change?
Great.
Haven't you seen it?
Have I seen it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And it's going to get worse. You say, well, is incorporation going to help it? Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say it's going to help it. But one thing it would do, we will be able to control what's being built out here. You start your zoning once you get your incorporation. Every spot of land that's in this neck of the woods, if it's not residential, is turned to commercial, or vice versa. And if they could, they'd build houses on top of one another. Land that people used to farm. This was noted as a farmer's community. Times have changed. We might not never see incorporation. But it's only out of the respect, even to those that are watching, is to talk about it, discuss it, and if we want to pursue it, let's either pursue it or drop it. One of the two. I'm not making no money off of it. E.T.'s not making no money off of it. None of us are making money off of anything we do. If anything, you spend money. And that's the bottom line. So, I think maybe with the respect to those that have signed up, and young man, could you hand me that sheet back there? Back there. Yeah, that'd be good. And this is the reason we'd advertise this meeting for a couple of months. And we've got 8 people. But I think with the ones that have signed up, without a respect, I mean, and then once he speaks, then I want to hear from everybody else out there. How do you feel? What should we do? Should we continue? Should we pursue it? Because I've got all the paperwork, got everything pretty much in line. It's just a matter of getting some more signatures and bouncing the ball. Now, it can be done. Some people don't want it, and I respect that. No problem. No problem at all. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. So at this time, Mr. Rob Wheel. Rob?
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you for your input. And you've been, he's consulted with Brian on Facebook, and I've talked with him by phone. And he's been very upfront about the situation. And Brian has been very cordial on Facebook that by letting people know that we're to respect one another's feelings. And that's the way it should be. I mean, everybody don't eat at the same restaurant. And we should respect one another. So when he gets through so graciously, it seems like he's got his ducks in a row. You come up here and take this stand. I tried to cut the microphone on. You speak loud and clear.
All right. First of all, thank you very much. My name's Rob Wheel. I've lived in the community about 22 years. I am a transplant. I'm a military veteran. My wife was born and raised in this area in Hope County, but we've lived in the Rockfish community area for probably 22 plus or minus years. So we've been here a little while, not as long as most of the folks sitting here and some of the others out there. The first thing I want to say, there's a lot of comments made. I'm not against annexation, or I mean incorporation. I think it has its values. You brought up pros and cons. What I'm against is annexation from, say, Fayetteville. Could it be Rayford at some point in time as this place grows? This place is growing as you know it. Can't remember the number of the houses going up down the road, but that's continuing on throughout. What is this? Mr. Bowles said it when I asked the question. He was the first one to answer it straight out. Why are we doing this? Is Fayetteville pushing? No, they're not. This is preemptive to look ahead because we don't know. Brian, right, asked me. I said, I don't know when that could happen. It might not, but there is a probability, and it's a high probability because they tried once. So I understand that piece. I understand where that could go. The reality of all this, people fight this. You're going to get taxed one way or the other. You can incorporate and get taxed, or you can get annexed and get taxed. We all know what Fayetteville taxes look like. I don't want to pay that, because by the time they want to do that, I'm going to be in major retirement mode, living off a fixed income, and it's going to hurt. All right, so I get that. If we incorporate, it's going to be different. We still got to make the money. We still got to show it. So the first thing I want to say, and this, I'm not here to bash anything. I'm just here putting information out the best I know it, and I did a little studying. You brought up something, signatures and so on and so forth. I can speak for the little community I'm in right off of Rockfish Road here, and some of the folks I've talked to. I won't speak for them, but just things I've heard. People don't understand some of this stuff. They think annexation and incorporation is the same thing. Use your Facebook page, use your stuff. This is what social media is for, to push that information. The more information you can give somebody on that, the better, than just explain what it is. I have people come to me, I don't want to be incorporated, they're going to do this. I go, well, dude, that's annexation. That's not incorporation. So I was kind of helping explain that. But again, it's starving for information. You got signatures, you're trying to, don't get me wrong how I say this, I'm not saying this in any bad way, you're trying to sell something nobody knows what it's about or totally know what it's about. And that's the major population group. Right, you got folks that sit and see these things and move forward, but they really don't know what they're buying. All right, so what does that look like? And I don't know the answer to this. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a military veteran that works on Fort Bragg. All right, that's what I do. So the questions I have overall are we ready and prepared to incorporate? And what is the initial planning for this? All right, I asked a bunch of questions and I got some answers to a couple, but there's a lot of questions out there. I don't know if they can be answered yet or not, but it would help, and it goes back to educating all the people in the population as best you can, maybe through Facebook, the meetings, so on and so forth. Understand the attendance is low. The ones I highlighted in this thing are just ones I wanted to hit. There's plenty, there's probably 100 more questions. But it's stuff that people had asked or brought up, or we had a conversation over a weekend, whatever it may be. And most of our conversations were pretty straight up, and they weren't bashing, it was just they didn't understand. Budget, what would a budget look like? Who's incorporated out there with a population the size that we have, that we can go to that incorporated area and go, what does your budget look like, just to have a swag at it? Because what is that going to do? Further down, when you see budgeting and taxes, you said it, there's a point some percent. Is it 15 cents on the 100? Or what do you say, 15 cents on the 100? I don't know. You know what that's based on is the population we have, the numbers we have in this community, which nobody can answer me that, census-wise, or hey man, how many households, what does it look like, what does the money look like to take care of that issue? You already said you got to shrink it because it's a pretty big area. But the bottom line is, what does that budget look like? That's going to help because it's going to tell you where those taxes might lie, and you're going to show people what that looks like. Then you compare it to Fayetteville and go, hey, if they come in here and annex this thing, this is what it could look like also. And I'm putting a fear in anybody saying they're going to do it. It's just, you can show them that, right? So, and then there's a big gap in here. Where does the money come from to get started? That was something I read on. Now, the first page there, I put a link. It's a 2007 Chapel Hill study on incorporation. I got a lot of thoughts in there because I wanted to read and figure out what this was about. All right, that's a quick link you can go to. I put it on the site. On today's thing, I kind of cut and paste that in there. I think it landed in there so people can look at that. It gives a general idea. It's not the tell-all do, it's 2007, but it got you ideas of where it's going and what it looks like. And again, I brought it up. What's the last town or city in North Carolina that incorporated in anything towards the size we have to go, hey, how did you guys do it? What are the pitfalls? How do we save? How do we do this? What does it look like as we go forward? Having some of these answers and putting them in there, showing people, so, hey, we've talked to X county, X town, and they did this, X, Y, and Z, and they moved forward, and this is what it looks like, and these are some of the problems we could have. Population is just our area. What's the voting population? Is the voting population the only one that can sign the petition? What's the household population look like? What's the tax income already for this area based on what Hope County is pulling? Again, ideas to show people where that stuff comes from. Services being provided or not provided, where the money comes from, again, that's all in a budgetary constraint thing. We got 4 of the 8. Who's covering the other 4? How does that look? Do we got to pay for that? Do we got to do this? We got to do X, Y, and Z. Some of this stuff I think can be answered fairly quick. Some can't. It's got to be looked into. If incorporated, you brought up, what does that governing body look like? Is it elected? Is it we put somebody in there? We got to pay some people. You got to have a city commissioner. You got to have a zoning officer. You got to have a couple paid job positions and what they look like. Are we paying for police over here? I think that was brought up. Question mark. All these things. Taxes, that's what everybody worries about. So I put a thing in here on just how it's all managed. What does that look like? We're gonna have to pay county tax, and then we're gonna have to pay a city tax or a corporation tax that goes with that, and they combine and do certain things. What does that look like? How does it work? So I'm gonna end the fast piece there. The bottom line for me for all this is, I'm sold when there's a plan moving forward, and I can understand the pieces of it. Not fully, it doesn't have to be perfect, because there's no perfect plan, but what is it going to kind of cost us? What does it look like per household? What are they feeling out of this? Define all these things as you move forward. And again, I'm all in for incorporation. Brian asked me, when do you think Fayetteville might annex? Could be 5 years, could be 10 years, could be 15, could be never. But you're protecting that bubble. I understand the pros and cons you have. They're very brief, over the top. It gives you an idea. But with answering some of these questions, not all of them, but if you could answer some of these questions for people out there, that's going to help you sell all this to them and go, hey, what does this look like to move forward? The last thing I got, and I'll finish up here again, these questions don't have to be answered because this is just too much. It's a lay down. The last thing I want to say is, as volunteers, totally understand how it is to work these things and move forward and get things moving and get a community. I worked my own little community at one point in time, but it was a handful compared to a fire district full, so I get what it takes to do that, and I appreciate your time you put in to do this, have these meetings, and you know, the concern is the complaint. Guess what, man? You can complain all day long, but the bottom line is the incorporation can do well, it can move forward, and with the right body moving forward, I think it works. Just got to decide when, what it looks like, and how it affects me, the homeowner out there.
That's right.
That's all I got. So I don't have to answer questions now. It's just an idea of how to help it work out a little bit.
We thank you.
Thank you for your
I appreciate that. That's very well outlined.
Yep.
And I can go back and, I have,
We have a lot of this stuff already.
we've already got a lot, we've got our budget book set up to show us what we need to do. And I appreciate you, saying what you said about, it's like an insurance salesman goes to a house. And you walk in the house, and you don't know what you're selling. It's about like blind leading the blind. You follow me? We've gone to some doors with the signatures that we've got. To answer your question about the signatures, all of the signatures has to be certified within the area that you are incorporating. I can't get somebody, or our board cannot get somebody from Rayford to sign a petition. It's got to be within. Now, when we get this map finished, the map will be reduced to a 3-mile radius. Anything within the 3 miles can sign that petition as long as they're a registered voter, which we call the McLaughlin Township. If they're a registered voter and they're on one of those cards at the Board of Elections, that signature is good. Anything on the outside of that is null. To answer his question about the city of Fayetteville, the city of Fayetteville classifies our community as extraterritorial. So I don't need to say no more. Extraterritorial. So, and you know, you never know. You don't know what could happen. This is a process that's going to take time. Once we begin, if we decide to move forward, and we decide to move forward with what we want to set out to do, at that time, we will have to begin to put a budget together. And when we submit the signatures to the General Assembly, when they get to Raleigh, we have to have a proposed budget. And after, whenever it takes place, the incorporation, once we get the charter, within a year, we have to have an election. There'll be a mayor, there'll be full council members, there'll be what they call a town administrator. With the 4 services that we have the water that we contract with the county. We have the law enforcement, which we would contract with Hope County Sheriff's Department through Hope County Board of Commissioners. We have the fire department. We have the trash. Then you're going to add sewer to your water or to your services that we have. I cannot answer the question how many registered voters would be within a 3-mile radius. I do know that at the time that we had it surveyed, there was almost 9,900 people within a 15-mile radius, and that's the fire district. But we're not going to go to the fire district. We're going to reduce it down to 3 miles. Are we ready for the incorporated, to be incorporated? I don't think we're ready as at this moment. You say, why? Our community is not interested. And I don't understand. 4 years ago, we went to all this expense to lay this out. No response from the community. Now you look 4 years later, look at the growth. We got 500 houses coming up on Rockfish Road. We got a school that's got a capacity of 900. They're pushing 720. Can you read that picture? Until we can get the community to come in and get behind us and not complain, come and support us, then we can move forward. But as of this day, July the 18th, 2023, we're going to continue to talk about the incorporation. If somebody calls me and said, Larry, I want you to explain it to me, I'm going to go to it and I'm going to explain everything that I know how. If they want to sign this petition, I'm going to let them sign it.
I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you know Fayetteville is considering us?
Because Fayetteville has never approved our map that we gave to them 2.5 years ago. And I had talked with several of the city councilmen, and the manager over there, everything has been taken. Matter of fact, I talked with one of the councilmen yesterday.
Fayetteville?
Yes, ma'am. They're watching us. You know why? It's because Rockfish outgrows North Fayetteville 2-1. Now, across the street over here is 11 acres. 11 acres. Possibly condos coming there. And the only thing that's saving Tabernacle Baptist Church is they purchased that land up there beside the church. That's what's saving them. There's a possibility there's going to be a gated community right across the street. That lot right over there, 3.4 acres. ideal location for a sheet store. Won't talk to us. Why? No sewer. Yet. So, you know, I think eventually it's going to happen. But until, I'd like to see the community get more involved with what we're doing. Now, do y'all agree with that? Now, don't you think that's a logical thing? I mean, because we could come in here tonight and make, I mean, nothing keeping us from going out and still pushing signatures. But you need to know what you're going to be talking about when you do this. And Rob, I commend you on doing your homework. Because everything that you've talked about, I've got it right here. And that's what, when me and Mr. Harold Rock went to Raleigh, that's everything that they outlined. You must have went with us somewhere. That's everything that they told us. So, you know, it's something really to think about. And I hope and pray the ones that are watching online that they'll strongly consider coming and supporting our meetings. Because we're going to continue to talk about this incorporation. And if somebody calls me and wants to talk about it, and I got to explain it to them, and they want to sign this petition, I'm going to get their name. Because 2 years from now, our community is going to outgrow itself. That's what I say. So.
And just like right now, our community is in trouble. We've got an elementary school down here, and they've had to put in double wides because they're outgrowing. And now with these other 200 or 300 houses, where's all of our children going to go?
Something to think about.
Hey, Larry.
Yes, sir.
Hey, guys, real quick. Good point what you said. One of the things we got to ask ourselves on this incorporation, what do we need to do to get the people involved? One of the things that I suggest, one or two of the things that I suggest, for 1 month, we hold, let's call it a open house session, or where a workshop,
Yeah.
For as people come, we up here every week for 1 month. So there's no excuse to say people can't say, I can't make it that third Tuesday. We have a workshop set up every night, not every night, but once a week for the month or whatever month we decide, to get the community to come out and say, hey, they are on this night, I can't make it this night, but I can make it the following week. So there's no excuse. Then what we also need to do is go around to each community. I guess each one of us has a point of contact, go around to each community. There's always somebody that's leading each community that knows everybody in the community. We go to that point of contact within that community. And that point of contact goes out within his community or her community talking to the people. Because a lot of times, people will listen to that person in that community because they know that person.
And they might not know me.
Right. And that person can talk to that person better than what we might get because they like, well, they the board, they blah. And that person comes back and report to us and let us know what the feedback from the community is. And once we get all of that information, like I said, we got workshops set up because you got to start having workshops set up because we can't keep coming once a month, talk about incorporation, then another month go by, we not talking about it no more. So we set, like I said, once again, set up a workshop so people can come up here. We have everything laid out, so when they come up here, we have some of the answers for them. We need to do that. And like I said, one of the things, pictures. School is overcrowded. Hey, look, you want to just keep sending your kid to an overcrowded school? Do you want to keep coming up here is overcrowded? You have no services to do what you need to do. You got to always go to Fayetteville or you got to go to Rayford to get services. Wouldn't you rather have a public grocery store or Harris Teeter right here within this community? For our elderly citizens, we need to have would you rather have sidewalks so our elderly can walk and do what they need to do? It's not just about the young people. We have our elderly people that need to be taken care of. And if we don't take care of the elderly, what that says about us. Because a lot of times the elderly will talk to the people before the young people will. And they can get to them. So stuff like that, that's what we got to start selling to the community. What we going to give back to the community. Not just, we want to incorporate. We need to start, it's just like you got to have a campaign ad. You got to sell this stuff to the community. And the question is, how can you sell it? Maybe we need to go talk to represent somebody that teaches us how to go out and talk within the community and what we need. Once we get those things going, you will see this place overpacked with people. And like I said, we need to start, not only that, we need to start concentrating on our elderly people within this community, because we cannot forget about them. Like I said, they can't even walk down the street without a sidewalk. That's the type of stuff we're talking about, what we need to sell to the communities. Sidewalks, walking trails, schools for the kids. Because everybody got kids and everybody complaining about schools, but nobody's willing to do nothing about it. So what can we as the board do? We're going to do that. That's what we're going to put out to you. We're going to give you services that you normally wouldn't get from other communities. And when you come to Rockfish, you're going to come to Rockfish, and this is going to be a place you want to live. Because we took time and the effort to take care of everything we need to do. Not for the young, for the middle age, but for our elderly as well. Because eventually, one day, I'm going to get older. And I would like sidewalks. I would like all the crosswalks where when you walk across the street and doing things like that. So that's some of the things that we need to think about. Like I said, because we can keep talking about this, but we gotta start pushing workshops and get the people up here. So when we do decide to do it, they're gonna say, well, y'all didn't have no week. Yes, we did. We had a workshop for the whole month of August. Where were you? So you can't complain if I had a workshop every night at 7 o'clock in the month of August on Tuesday night, every month, and you can't make it one of those nights, something wrong. So, that's something I think we probably sit down and talk about, but everybody, think about that. Just think about it. I think we can get it done.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Larry, I wrote letters for a while to the editor on how important it is for us to try to get this done. And 2 letters was written back that I was trying to scare everybody. And we never found the 2 people that wrote the 2 letters was not anybody that anybody ever knew or family. And several times we put letters in there.
Well, we've talked about it. The first time we brought it up 3.5 years, I think, right, Brian? 3.5 years. First time we talked about incorporation.
It's been about 2 years.
Yeah, but it probably does scare a lot of people. But I'll have to agree with Carlos. I think it's going to be for us to continue this, and the community, Rob hit it right on the head. The community needs to be aware of what's going on, and this is something we're going to discuss. But until then, we're going to talk about it, and if we can get signatures, we'll get them. And I just feel like down the road, very soon, these things will materialize with what we're seeking to do. And I asked the ones that are online, I could probably call about 3 different names, but I'm not going to do that. I would like for them to come to our meetings and get involved. And I respect everybody's decision. Some might not like it, and that's fine. But we need to come together as a community. We need to come together.
And the thing about it is, getting back to the school, and no, I don't have a child at school, just my grandchildren, they go to different schools. I'm just gonna make a comment here, it's my personal opinion. County commissioners knows the situation about the schools down here in Rockfish. They know all about it. That's all I've got to say.
Well, that falls to your Board of Education. I don't think we need to go there.
Monroe's offered a good land, good
Sure
price
did.
on their land for the high school, but they wouldn't even.
Nope.
Here's what we got down here. And this is what you're gonna have to think about and how to get them involved in doing what we were talking about doing. Look, we have a bedroom community, and we have a bunch of military people who are not gonna stay here.
Yep, transfer.
The ones that are staying will go with you and help you do anything. The ones that are not are leaving here in 4 to 5 years. And they could care less. They're not interested in it. They care for the time they're here, most of them do, and then after that, they're gone. And we never see them more, them or their children. So that's the case right there. They won't come to our meetings because we're sitting up here and doing things they're not even interested in, because they're gonna be leaving direct. This is the people we got to get things going to have them to come in and get involved with us and help us get it done.
Good answer. Anybody else have anything? Brian?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Martin. I'm a board member with these esteemed ladies and gentlemen here. I'm not against incorporation as a concept. I'm against this incorporation because, as Mr. Will pointed out, we are not prepared.
No, sir.
Not even close. For example, I've been coming to these meetings for close to 3 years now. I didn't even know we had a budget book. We're not even doing a great job of sharing information amongst ourselves, much less the rest of the community. Your idea that you just had was a pretty good idea, Carlos. But we need to do more than just workshop. We need to share information. There's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of myth, there's a lot of hurt feelings because people don't know what's going on. I just had a comment a few minutes ago from an individual who said, "Is this a joke?" Literally, that's what he asked me. Is this a joke? I just left Fayetteville to get away from annexation, and now we're talking about it again. He thinks we're talking about annexation. That's not true. So he asked, is this a joke?
Yeah.
We are just really bad at sharing the information. And that is the main reason why I'm against this. Because we have not done our homework, we have not communicated with each other, and we have done a poor job of communicating with the community. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Well, we've had a budget book for ever since right before Brian went off the board because of his job, and we talked about that. And that's one of the first things that you have to come together with. Is you got to have a proposed budget when you turn into signatures. That's one of the things. But I will say that as of right now, we're not ready for it, but we're going to continue. You say talk about it? Yes, we are. And every chance that I get, if I get a chance to get a signature and talk about what's going on, I will.
There,
Yes, sir.
Martin was, what he said is very true. We're not prepared for it, but I know this don't have anything to do with this in another area, but it's the same situation. I lived in Cumberland, a little community like Rockfish,
Yeah.
called Cumberland, but it wasn't as big a land area. It wasn't near as large as Rockfish land area. But I lived there for 28 years. I didn't know what incorporation was. When I got older, people talked about it. They said at one time Cumberland was incorporated. I don't know what happened, if there was or if there wasn't. But anyway, they talked about it, but they never prepared for it. With no time, they got more revenue coming in, more stuff being built and all. Oatmeal's grabbed it. And they just said, well, we're not gonna pay county and city taxes. Well, they do. They pay Cumberland County and they pay Hope Mills.
Uh-huh.
And so whether it's Hope Mills or federal will get us, this is the bottom line. The more this stuff is built around us, the sooner they will come get us.
The more building that happens, the more they look.
Hey, Larry.
Yes, sir.
And real quick, did you let that, or just one, did you let that guy know that we wasn't, talking about incorporation?
Well, that was not.
Okay. And what he said is correct. And listen, like I said, I stay right here in Rockfish off Barefoot Road. 295 is coming. And if y'all don't think, if people don't think that Fayetteville and Rayford and we right here in the middle, if y'all, like I said, I think we got some of it, but if y'all knew all the stuff that's going to come on on Stony Point Road, and cause Click's moving this business, I think they can put a whole bunch of apartments and stuff out there, gas stations and everything. If we sitting here thinking that, I think some of us have got too comfortable. Let's get realistic. We done got so comfortable where we to the point now, well, Fayetteville's not gonna mess with us. Nobody's gonna mess with us. 295 is not coming through there for no reason. So eventually, one day you might have hotels and everything gonna be popped up right there. Because that's gonna be the get on to 295 right here off of Stony Point.
Right there on Brandon.
So that's the connector. So if we then got so comfortable now, because like Larry said, like a lot of other people, Brian said and stuff back then, we done got so comfortable now till we think change is not coming. You gotta always in your mind think that change is coming. And if you don't never think that change is coming, that's when you get swept up. You gotta understand, when I guarantee you, once sewer hit Rockfish, and they get a $7,000, $8,000 sewer bill, they're gonna come up here. What are y'all let this happen? We didn't let it happen, you wasn't here. We was letting you know all the time that it was coming. So we done got so comfortable because Fayetteville's not gonna annex us. But we gotta start thinking outside the box. We gotta start thinking 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road. And if we're not thinking that far down the road, we're gonna get left behind. You're gonna come here one day, your taxes gonna be so high, then everybody gonna be complaining, say, hey, the board didn't do what they supposed to do. Because I'm telling you, we're gonna get the blame. So you gotta have a projected goal. What's gonna happen 5 years from now? What's gonna happen 15 years from now? And if you're not projecting that far out, and if you're only projecting to tomorrow, we're gonna get messed up. So we gotta be forward thinking. We can't be looking in the rearview mirror no more. We can't keep saying, well, Rockfish is the farming community. Yeah, 20, 30 years ago, yeah. Rockfish is not that anymore. If you look at, like you said, if you go just driving down, all the farming land is, they eating it up with houses. So, Mr. Brock, he's real, everybody knows. But if you don't see that, you're driving with your eyes closed. That's just like going putting your money in the bank and you have no control of your own money. That's what's going to happen in Rockfish. You're going to be living out here, but you're not going to have control of anything. And then everybody's going to be complaining. But if you had to stop this from the plan for this now and into the future, we can stop some of the bleeding. Is it going to hurt with some tax dollars? Yeah, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. But who's going to be in control of those dollars? Yeah, no.
Can I just add to that real quick? I don't mean to interrupt.
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
And you're right. No, I don't think anyone here in this room or online for that matter will argue with you that having control, self-governance is a bad thing. right? But you don't get behind the wheel of a car if you don't
Yeah.
know how to drive a car.
Yeah, that's why I
Simple.
said, that's why I said
And
do
just
workshops.
to point out, further to what I said a few minutes ago, Mr. Wheel, thank you for this printout, this is extremely helpful. If these same questions were presented to the individuals who decide whether or not we get annexed through Fayetteville, if this same piece of paper was presented to those people who make that decision in downtown Fayetteville, I guarantee you they'd have the answers. I promise you they would. And how long have you guys been working on? How long has this group been working on this incorporation?
About 3.5 years.
About 3.5 years.
And we sent them a map 2 years ago, they've
Yeah.
never approved it.
And we can't answer
Everything's
most of
been
these
tabled.
questions. And I understand that, but we can't answer most of these questions. And these are questions that the community has, these are concerns that I have. And that's a problem.
And see, that's why I said, to me, that's why I said, let's have workshops. In workshops, now if you coming out into the workshops, we should be prepared to answer each community person's question.
I agree.
But also what it does to me on the workshops, it gives people time, it fits into their schedule. That's what I was just trying to do. Fit it into people's schedule so they can't say, well, on that third Tuesday of August, next August, I can't make that third Tuesday. So I'm gonna give you a window of the whole month of a Tuesday. Come to a workshop, and it is our goal should be to have everything laid out for you. And if we don't, that's our fault.
We can talk about this after the meeting. Maybe we do something like a website or something. But this information, these questions need to be answered, and this information needs to be shared because this is a huge problem.
Here it is, a lot of the answers to that question.
Those pros and cons don't answer these questions, sir.
If you know a little bit about them, it does.
No, sir. The pros and cons do not answer the question of the population of the incorporated area, who's going to provide the initial budget, etc. I'm sorry, but they don't.
I got something just to add on that. So participation is one of your keys, right? That's what you brought up, Mr. Bowles. And that is a big factor. You can see that already. So first of all, information is free. You got information, and no offense here, I asked questions, but you didn't answer them, but you gave me some answers today, which is good. My little bubble of community, you brought it up, those little bubbles out there. People know people, you can't get them all. You never will. My little bubble, we talk about this stuff, and some of the things they have is, they just need to be educated. This is where the information is free thing comes in, where don't put it all in one shot on Facebook or something. You talk about money. This is what the money's gonna be like. A possible budget looks like it. Show us. When you don't show us, my little bubble goes, what are they doing with my money? Because you can't show them yet. But you just gave us the answer. You said you had a proposed budget that's, you know.
We got a layout.
That's fine. You come to my door, I'm just gonna lay this out. You came to my door, now I know you, that's fine, we'll talk. You ask me for a signature, I'm gonna say no, not until you can answer me what the budget.
I agree with you.
You gotta give me 80% solution on what the budget looks like, that's a swag. You gotta show me what's kinda gonna look at my taxes as things go forward. That way I know what I'm getting into, I'm educated. And when you educate people, they start gravitating toward it and go, first of all, you gotta just bust the misnomer of annexation and incorporation. You gotta take it away that this is being forced or anything like that. It's, hey, look, we're just trying to look out for the community for the long-term future. But you gotta educate. If you can answer any one of these questions right now, which you did, you need to put that up for people to see. Because I'll do it. Because I'll tell you, I do just like Brian. They told me about annexation, whoa, stop. You're misinformed. This is not this, it's this. There was somebody on Facebook, no offense to him, he wrote something that said, I'm tired of this stuff going on in Rockfish with some of this stuff in the business district. He answered his own question. Because he didn't want to get incorporated, like, well, by incorporating, you can actually influence that. You know, who gets where, what, when, and how, the zoning piece, right? But you're more there. Bottom line is educate, or you gotta educate, all that information is free. You don't pay for that. If you got it, you gotta share it. Because I'll share it. You put that on Facebook somewhere, you email me, I'll put it on Facebook. I'll hit the communities that I work around and do. That's the sort of what you're talking about. Do I want to head up a committee? That's a burden, right? But whatever. I can do it quickly on social media because that is the new change in the new way. And you know what they can bash me? I'll say, that's all right, you don't have to be there.
what we'll do.
You get more people through that.
We always have our meeting on the third Tuesday night. And we'll set aside the fourth Tuesday night in August and the third is have it a night that we'll have answers for these questions.
And that's how you build trust for the community.
And
so
what
that
we need to do
we know
is I'll have answers for the questions. And then at that time, we'll continue to do what we're doing.
And if you want people to care about this situation, come to
Well,
these meetings.
that's
what
the
you gotta-
reason
you
we
gotta
come
build
together
trust.
tonight to talk about it. I mean, here you have got 15, 10 people out of 5,000 people,
Well,
or 12 out of 5,000 people.
We've had
Do
about
they care?
We've had about 6 or 7 online tonight.
You know,
which is pretty good.
does those 67 people care? They ought to be here. But we will have answers for the questions. The third Tuesday night of August, and we'll begin the workshop on that night and the fourth Tuesday night. So we plan to do 2 nights a month. I can't do it every month. We can't.
Sure.
Got too much going on. But 2 nights we can answer questions.
I would suggest sharing it a little early online, just give them some of it.
And what we'll do is I'll get some information, a sample of a budget swag. I'll start working on some of these tomorrow.
Thank you.
And I'll get them to him and he'll post them. And then, we'll work it from there. But I know, because, you know, I help participate with funerals, and when you're selling a service, you've got to have something to back you up.
Yes.
And I'm a firm believer in that. And I respect where everybody stands. There's no problem.
I also would just like to say something on behalf of this online community. I think there's a bit of a misunderstanding about what's happening here behind this computer screen. Just because a person can't physically be here doesn't mean they don't care.
That's right.
All right, so I just want to point that
Well, there's a
out.
lot of them that could be here.
That's very true. But I just want to point out that there's people who can't be
There's
here.
people
and
that's sick and can't come, and we respect
This is a valuable tool
that.
to get this information out.
That's
to
right.
them.
And we want to be, we want to put this information more on our Facebook. And one thing I'd ask you to do is share that meeting at least 3 or 4 times a day. Create an event and share it. That's the only way we're going to do it. And it will work. And I believe that if we communicate more with people and let people know what's going on, and they know about what's happening and what's going to happen, we'll see good results. Okay? E.T., y'all have anything in? You want to close?
Unless y'all have.
Y'all have anything? I want to thank everybody tonight for watching, and stay tuned for the third Tuesday night in August and the fourth Tuesday night in August. Okay?
I would like to say that, I'd like for everyone to remember a family that was raised here, the Beasley family. Remember them as James, was it James or Jimmy? He will be, the services tomorrow, and his parents was raised right here in Rockfish. Right where the Shell station is, that was the home place. It was moved.
Well, they stayed up beside Betty Wood.
Mhm.
Okay?
You got it.
Thank you for coming. Y'all have a good night.
I used